Hi, today we are going to paint this kind of uh, landscape look, and here I've drawn this sketch. This is the sketch layer, and I'm going to put in a magic stone, a giant magic stone inside in the landscape. Now, so the reference for the magic stone is this one, and I think I'm going to put in some 3D shapes. Let's use the black color. Let's use pencil, and going to draw some lines for like 3D shapes. Maybe this is now let's go over to the brand new layer, and I'm going to, let's say, have a base color of this color. I've already so I already chose the color palette, and I think I'm going to choose for the sky color. Then I'm going to do with this, just select this blue, and the light part would be, I'm going to shift a bit in this color, and this is going to be the highlights color, and for the clouds is white color, and for the magic stone color, let's pick a very think blue color. Let's make very dark blue color, and the shadows, the highlights, and the shadows would be slightly lower here, and for the highlights, I'm just pick this color, and I'm going to make it a white little bit, and choose the color, choose for the highlights. Now let's paint the foreground color, which is the grass and everything. I'm going to choose pen fade as my brush. Let's pick the first base color, and just going to add a folder. I'm going to name this foreground. Let's paint the foreground. I'm going to make another layer, and I'm going to make the darker parts of the grass. So this, I'm going to block some colors, some shapes, and this part now. For the next layer, I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to add a different color tone, and it should be below the darkest layer. I'm going to just paint the overall, I'm going to block the overall color. And I'm going to move this downwards a little bit, and let's pick a different shade of green. I'm going to add a new layer, and it should be on top, should be below this layer. And let's paint the color. And let's do a very bright green towards the yellow, and try to going to add a new color. Let's draw the brightest, so let's block the color for the brightest part of the landscape. Okay, go. Okay, I'm going to erase some of the shape. Now let's, okay, so I'm going to draw in the leaves shaped. So I'm going to use this grass shape, this grass color. Let's see if so it appears to be a little bit more dark. Let's use this dark color, and I try to slowly build up the leaves color. Let's try a different brush. Let's use this brush. Back. I think this brush is better. Okay, and let's go back. I'm on a, let's go to this layer and brush in the leaf brush. So now let's pick the next tone color of green, and I'm going to do the same thing for this side. Just on the edges, because that's the contours, that's what I want, the contours of the grass I want to look light. And I think I'm going to make a smaller brush. I'm going to pick the next tone of green, select the layer and brush in the grass. Let's pick the this is a bit too bright. Let's okay, so let's paint the, I'm going to paint again. I used benefit and I'm going to select this layer. I'm going to paint a little this whole thing. Oh no, I'm going to paint at this new layer and bring it down this layer. Let's choose a different color, and I'm going to make the brush size smaller, and I'm going to draw in the highlights. I'm going to shift it to the white color, towards the yellow color, and I'm going to paint in the brightest highlights. Just along the sides of the top brightest color. Just paint the top. If we let's disable, okay, so that's the pin. Alright, I think this is very good. I'm going to adjust a little bit of the shade here to choose the most dark color. I'm going to paint more of the black, so it looks completely black. Going to go to this next tone of green, select the color, brush in a little bit more, then lower the opacity towards the top side, so I can slowly build up the green color. For this color, just to brush in a little bit more. And I think it's looking good. Now let's go to let's create a new layer. Add a new folder. I'm going to rename this the midground, and I'm going to paint in a bush. So I'm going to use the bush brush that I actually made myself. Going to select the darker green. Let's paint the outline, so the midground should be below the foreground. So let's paint some bush. Then I'm going to picking the very small size brush, cause it's now further away from the foreground. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same for the other side. Just a little bit different shape. Let's choose. Okay, now we just make a new layer. I'm going to pick the airbrush, cause I want to give it a little gradient of dark color. Let's pick green, so let's pick it a dark color, and I'm just going to have gradient of this, make a gradient. And I'm going to choose a very towards the yellow and try to pick a very bright I think I should clip this bright yellow and just give the and I'm going to pick this color to lower the opacity just to blend a little bit more. Okay, I think it's looking good. Let's make a new layer, and I'm going to choose the leaf brush again, and I'm going to choose the darkest green. Oh no, I should I'm going to choose the green and slightly above, and I'm going to make a bush. Continue to build the bush. Give it a little bit of depth, and going to pick the brighter color paint, going to pick the brightest color again and paint in the let's go back to the color again and give it a little bit of variation, a mix up. And we are going to pick the brightest green and put in the highlights top. Okay. Let's pick the dark color and mix up for a little bit more. Okay, then let's do for the next layer the different side. So let's pick the dark bush, dark color bush, and paint in the shadows. Let's pick the next bright color. Paint on top. let's continue to paint the sky. I think I'm quite happy with the pushed paint. Let's make a new layer, bring it down, add a folder and group the layer. Let's choose a brush. I think let's choose something with texture, somewhat texture brush. I think I found one is the alcohol flat, though it kind of has some kind of different feel. Like, yeah, I think this is, yeah, I think this have some kind of like a star shape pattern, kind of texture. So let's paint the sky. Let's name this, name this sky. Let's name this background to bush. And for the sky, let's go to the sky layer. Let's paint in the base color. So is this purple color I chose. Well, I thought it's going to be like blue color. I think it's okay. So I got it like into like a different like this got kind of opacity. I know, I think this is because of the brush settings, cause my opacity is at 100%. Let's just pin the somewhat of opacity to make it a textured sky. So we have the kind of texture. Let's make a new layer. Clip. I'm going to make a gradient. I'm going to choose a brush. I'm going to make it full opacity. Why did I choose? Oh, this is the. Oh, sorry. I chose the stone color. This is actually the stone color. But let's choose the blue sky color. Okay, let's choose the alcohol marker, because I think the alcohol marker is quite suitable for the stone color. But never mind, I just paint the sky first. Let's paint the sky, and I lift up my brush and have some kind of opacity texture. Yeah, so okay, then let's make a new layer, clip mask and choose airbrush, and let's pick this light color. I'm going to make a gradient because this is the brightest part. I'm going to choose the light color, so this is almost white near the stone. And the top, let's pick this color. I want to brush in a little bit, or make it smaller, lower the opacity, try to like paint make it different kind of shades of blue in the sky. Now what I'm going to do is draw the clouds, and I'm going to make a new layer and choose the clouds brushed. I think I want to choose the watercolor bleed, and for the cloud brush, let's pick the second most bright blue color, or I can shift it a little bit more, it's like a different hue, and I'm going to draw out the shape of the cloud. Let's try like this. Okay, let's try to transform a bit mesh. Going to draw the other side. And let's make the brush bigger, and I'm going to have this kind of circular motion and brush the clouds, try to form the cloud shape. Make the brush smaller, and so let's make, so this is the clouds. Now I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to clip it I think I'm going to draw some more clouds. Let's draw it on the far side. Wait, maybe like this. Back. I'm going to make a new layer. I have to draw it at a new layer, and and then you're going to pin in the clouds. Is let's transform it a little bit and make it smaller. So this cloud is on the far side. I think that's it. Maybe I can duplicate this cloud, transform, slightly adjust the size, and I'm going to adjust the shape a little bit. I'm just doing random shapes. Okay, then maybe I can remove the edges to make it a bit more blurred, and maybe make it smaller. Paint a little bit more. Now let's now I'm going to merge. I'm going to draw in the shadows. So I'm going to put in the mid-tone shadow. Let's maybe lower the opacity. Going to draw the shadows in the darker shadows. This should be the ground on the most bottom side, and I'm going to pick this paint in the lights on the top. So most likely this area. Let's go to type So this is water. Let's try to blend in the colors. Just merge. Let's change the type to mono, and I'm going to choose a very bright white color. I'm going to paint the bright side a little bit more. Let's try to blend these clouds. So let's pick the dark color for the shadows. So it should be about here. So and let's go to the next core shadows and lower opacity and new layer clip. Just maybe build up the shadow. Just a darker tone of core shadow on the underside. Now let's pick. So let's just merge. Let's paint in the the highlight color. The next bright should be here. So this already look like nighttime too, but never mind. So this is the color for the mid tone, and let's paint in the bright highlights. It's going to be here. And select the most bright color. Somewhere lit. Let's blend these colors. So I'm going to lower the opacity using the same brush. So let's pick this dark color and blend. So we're going to pick the in-between color, then lower the opacity and blend. For this ground, so these sharp lights with sharp contrast between the dark and the lights. I'm going to choose the color again. Going to color pick this bright blue, and I'm going to blend in the color. Going to mix a little bit of the color because it think that's good. Let's choose the most bright color, and I'm going to put draw in the lights, highlights on this side. Try to go a little bit more white. paint the highlights a little bit. Okay. So actually I'm need to do for the back clouds also. So make a new layer, clipping mask, choose the mid color, choose the okay, I'm just going to be quick with this one for the shadows here. Shadows in dark color. The color shadow is on the bottom side. And just slowly the light, paint in the light. The brightest area. And I try to blend, make sure it doesn't have too much sharp edges. Okay, I think we are done with the clouds, and I'm going to make it more interesting. I'm going to make a new layer, and we are going to add the stars. I'm going to choose this sanguine pen at I think so. Let's put all over stars in thing is we also need bigger stars. Let's put this below the cloud layer. Then going to add in very bigger stars. So opaque should be white color. Okay, randomly put slightly bigger stars. And going to duplicate the star layer. Filter Gaussian blur. Going to duplicate the star layer. Paint, give filter, give it I'm going to draw the magic stone, paint the magic stone. Let's make a new layer. Should be on top. Let's add a folder. Name this stone. So let's pick I call marker flat color. Let's pick the base color of the stone, and we are going to paint the stone color. So let's paint new layer, collecting mask. I'm going to add in actually a shadow layer, but I'm going to use a very bright blue color. So let's shade in the shadows. This side be the most thing. This side is dark. So the lights would be going from the center here. It's going to be very dark. Let's pick the second bright color. Let's try this one. Paint this again. Let's change it to multiply, and let's lower the opacity to 50, 40, or like we it's going to be a little dark. Okay, let's do the highlights. Going to pick this color, towards highlight. So the most this is the most bright the airbrush and make kind of a shadow gradient. So this is the darkest part. Let's choose a light. everything is looking good. I'm going to make going to just merge. Now let's make a new layer, cake mask. Let's draw the lines, the glowing lines. First I should draw the glowing lines. Let's use a deep pen. Let's take this somewhat bright green and trace over the lines. Let's turn off the sketch, and going to use the eraser tool. Going to make the edges of the stone more sharper. Let's make the lines. I want to have a lock. I need to use airbrush and make just a darker purple and try it and shade in a little bit of texture and the bright purple over this side. Let's make these lines again and make it a little bit more of a shape. Choose this color.